Last week we spoke about the 12 steps to aligning yourself to building wealth like the rich, and the mindset and what you need to implement in your strategies in order to build wealth. And I'm showing you the 12 steps in a pyramid format. And at the very apex of this was your chief aim. And today we're going to go over very quickly your chief aim, what it entails, what it is, how it's fundamental, a key step to building wealth like rich people, like the rich. So here's the first point. Okay, so we're going to talk about defining your spiritual / life mission. And as I said last time, that you cannot separate spirituality from wealth building, because some people say God is in everything, he's omnipresent, he's everywhere. And be a bit strange if he was everywhere apart from in money. Right? But then I don't want to get into this religious chat, but then we can have somebody say, yeah, but the devil put money on the earth. So right. But anyway, that's a whole new conversation that we're not going down. If you're thinking that, and then the person that probably says that, I know people that actually say that, and then they've got absolutely no money, and then they say that it's the devil made me poor, so it made me struggle, because it's the devil that controls all the money, also known as the Federal Reserve. Anyway, so your defined spiritual life mission, your chief aim in life. Now, you need to understand, the bigger and more compelling the reason, the bigger the drive equals bigger wealth. So, and it says if, and that's the reason why I said if. The bigger the reason you have for building wealth, the more wealth you have. So if your child, they always give this example, if your child was the most important thing and someone kidnapped your child and says, if you don't make £10 million or dollars or euros within 3 months, you'll never see your child again. Because that's the most important thing to somebody. They'll build vast wealth. So that would be a big reason for them. But here's the thing. Soon as that person had built that wealth and got their child back, the desire to build money would disappear. So you need something that's compelling and would drive you continuously to keep building wealth. Because once you got to a certain point and achieved it, the desire would go. Then who knows, you might be somebody that's a consumer of wealth rather than an accumulator of wealth. And just so you understand, most people in the world, soon as if you said I'll give them 100,000, 200,000, $500,000, $1 million, euros, pounds, they would consume it rather than increase its value. Now, your value, this, as I said, it builds bigger wealth. If, and there's a comparison here of the if it serves you and your family versus, which is what reason why most people want to make money, versus it serves a vast number of people. Now, Bill Gates, Microsoft, creates a computer with an ideal thinking, I want to get a computer in every single body's house in the whole world. Something that serves a vast number of people. Then you get somebody that says, I want to do some financial trading and investing so that my family are free. And I'd like to be a multimillionaire. So the person that says, I'm going to serve millions of people that are going to benefit from something of value versus the person that's going to trade. All right? Because you can buy value or you can sell value. So someone says, I'm going to trade. I'm going to do some financial trading and investing. The person who has the objective of serving the biggest number of people is going to achieve the largest sum of money. The Federal Reserve, for example, people that print money, right, are serving the most number of people with that money, right? And surprise, surprise, they have the most money. The closer you are to the source of the money, the more money you can actually get. So, who are you trying to serve? If it's just you or your family, you're only going to make a teeny bit of money. Whereas if you're thinking, how can I do something that can serve, and my reason is going to serve a vast number of people, you'll access something to achieve a bigger drive, a bigger reason equals bigger wealth. Now, this spiritual / life reason, your chief aim in life, has to be based on what is most important to you. Not to me, not to somebody else. It's subjective to you. And there's a thing called our values. We all value things but not in necessarily the same order. Some people have their children as the most important things. Some people value skydiving, adrenaline sports, their body, their health, learning, a business, God, their family, socializing, whatever it is. And there's all the derivatives of within each of those sections. We have a value on some of these things above and beyond other things. But the thing that is highest on your values is the thing that you need to tap into. That has to be linked to your chief aim in life. So for example, for myself, it's learning. It's my chief aim in life is I love learning more than absolutely anything. Learning about wealth, learning about the psychology of wealth and the principles of wealth and the strategies of the rich. And my reason for building wealth is linked to that. It's not linked to my family. Yes, they'll benefit and I'll benefit and you have a car and a house. Yeah, but that's not it. That's not what's driving me. It's linked to my highest value. By working out what's most important to you and linking your chief aim to that, you will be able to access the biggest drive, a bigger reason. And it has to say, as I said, it has to serve. The more people you try and serve with this reason, the bigger the access, the bigger the money you can access. As I heard somebody say, I heard John D. Martini say, your supply to you is based on the demand on you. And if you serve more people, the bigger the access of wealth that you have. As I said, it could be based on, think about this, which of these areas are you most focused, dedicated, disciplined, spend your time, your energy, not out of pain, not out of frustration, not out of, oh my God, I've got to obligation, not out of, oh my God, the bills, I've got to pay the bills, so I'm focused on making money. No, out of inspiration. Which of these? It may be your spirituality. It may be something that you want to learn. It may be about your business. It may be your finances. It may be your family. It may be social. It may be some social movement, or it may be your health. Think about which of those is it that you spend the most time on, most organized, most disciplined, most reliable on, because that there is an indication of the direction and the theme of your chief aim in life. Now, I've written during your life versus beyond your life. Now, when I was younger, I used to do martial arts, and then we used to hold these sparring mitts up and used to hit it. They'd hold it up and hit it, but we were taught not to hit the object. We were told to hit way beyond it. And if you hit beyond this punch, beyond this sparring mitt, the amount of power, the amount of energy, the amount of kinetic force you could create by hitting this, by aiming beyond it, was 10 times what you would create by hitting the object. Now, if you have a life mission and you think, I want to achieve this by the end of my life, during my life, versus end of my life, versus something that I want to create that's going to go beyond my life, the further the distance in point in time from now in relationship to your life, the more money you can create, because you're thinking about something that's going to create a legacy. So this chief aim in life that you have to have. Building wealth has to help you to achieve this chief aim in life, your life mission. The more you can link building wealth to achieve this chief aim in life, the bigger the drive, the bigger the pool of money. It does not have to be, I've got to have a business. It does not have to be, I've got to be a trader. My trader has to be my chief aim in life. It has to be linked to what is most important to your highest value, those themes that I've said up there, between spirituality, your mind, your financial, your family, your social movement, or your health. If you can link, and you can, link building wealth to that theme, which is the most important to you, which you act out of inspiration rather than desperation, and think, how will building vast wealth enable me to do this in a way that it goes beyond my life and it serves a vast number of people? You have access to a huge sum of money. You have the ability to see, you'll be able to see money-making opportunities, act on money-making opportunities that you never saw before. You'll be more focused, you're more disciplined, more organized, because it's not about you. You're now doing it for things beyond yourself. You're now doing it to benefit, depends on it may be hundreds of people, thousands of people, millions of people, maybe billions of people. And the more people you can serve and you can combine all those elements, the bigger the wealth you'll be able to achieve. Because now you've linked, because most people think, oh, they have a value of money, but they don't. And I've said this before, and you'll see this when the free series comes out, that most people have a value on consuming money, spending it, buying a house, a car, a boat, and stuff like this, and they deplete it, and which is why 75 to 85% of people that win the lottery or come into a sudden money or an inheritance lose it with between 1 and 5 years, and in fact are worse than they started. So by linking all these things and understanding probably wealth building, if you're not vastly wealthy right now, a millionaire or financially free or on your way and you can see evidence of it happening right now, it means making money is not important enough for you. But if you link making money to this chief aim in life, you increase the odds, the probabilities, your drive and your access, your ability to access the skills and the capabilities and the foresight and the mind power in order to do it. Understand this, less than 5% of the world have a definite defined purpose. And so, as a result of this, most people end up working for those that do. Somebody that has a vast organization had a vision and a chief aim in life, and that's why most people end up working for them. Most people are living, they're not playing their game, they're playing somebody else's game, and then they feel like they're a victim. It's because you're playing somebody else's game with somebody else's rules. And there's nothing wrong with that. What I'm saying is, if your game is to make... Your boss's job isn't to make you rich. That's not your boss's job. If your goal is to make vast sums of money, you need to either have your own business or get paid by your boss. And you don't need to have a business to grow vast wealth. You can get paid by your boss and then take that money and go and invest it in a systemized way within the 4 asset classes. But understand this, you need to have your chief aim in life driving what you're doing to build that wealth, otherwise it won't happen. Now, let me ask you a question, and you think about this now. What's something you feel you want to be remembered for more than absolutely anything? So when you're gone, comes the end of time, how would you like to be remembered? What is it, the one key thing? If it was one thing, maybe it's one thing that you had an impact on people's lives. What is that one thing? Now some people say, but what happens if I want it for my family? And you said that's not a good thing, doing it just for my family, but all I think about is my family. Rose Kennedy had a mission for her family. She wrote it in a book. I dedicate my life to raising a family of world leaders. Her focus on her family and that family power was an effect on a vast number of people, that i.e. world leaders. It was beyond just herself and beyond just the realms of her family. So you can focus on your family if that's what's most important to you, but you need to do it in a way you're thinking, how can I do this in a way, how can building wealth affect my family in a way that affects a vast number of people? Let me ask you another question. Which area of your life do you tend to spend most of your time, energy and focus on? Out of inspiration, not desperation. Not, oh, I'm sitting there, I'm trading all the time, I seem to be doing it all the time. Blah, blah. No. What are you doing, spending your money, your time, your energy and focus on out of inspiration? And if you're thinking, yeah, but you don't understand, I'm spending all my time on my trading, let me ask you this. If you were financially free, what would you spend your life focused upon in order to serve the most number of people? And most people think, oh, if I was financially free, I wouldn't do anything. Let me tell you this right now. Become financially free and you will be bored after a very short amount of time because you'll feel like you're not doing anything. People only feel fulfilled by the contributing and they're growing. So if you were financially free, let's say you needed, and people don't need as much money as they make out. Let's say you needed 5, 10, 15, 20,000, right? 30,000 a month. Very few people need that. But let's imagine you had that coming in consistently for the rest of your life. Guaranteed, hedged against inflation. What would you focus on in order to serve the most number of people in your life? What would you do? So think about, oh, I would like to be remembered for, what do I tend to spend the most time and my energy on now? That is inspirational. And if I had all this money coming in, guaranteed to the rest of my life, hedged against inflation, what would I spend my time on? Is an indication of your chief aim in life. Now, you've probably had the thought of thinking, do you know what I'd really love to do is X. I'd probably love to be remembered for. Write that, and I'm not saying you're going to get this down straight away. Write down a series of these things and keep writing them, keep writing them, keep writing them until your brain says, you know what, that's it. My desire to know what my chief in life is was so vast. I would travel any distance. I would go to travel any distance and pay any price, is what somebody would say. But I literally would spend any amount of money and go to any event in order to work out what it was for me. And I did. And I spent most of my life doing it. So it's not the easiest thing to work on. It's not, however, it's one of the most worthiest thing you could possibly spend your time doing because of the benefits. And if you want to making money, if you haven't got the wealth that you desire, but you want to be able to access the wealth that you desire, this here is the chief thing that you need to sort out and recognize and attach how building wealth to that thing there. One chief aim is going to be able to serve you and other people and your family and everybody else. And then think about those other things. And just realize this. Napoleon Hill said it was one of the key factors that the 100 richest people in the world had in their mind. A definite purpose that meant building wealth was needed to achieve it. So, what is your chief aim in life? That is my mission for you for this week. Work out what is your chief aim in life. And next week, we'll be working on part 2 of that plan.